If you lead an engineering team, you face a persistent friction every time you open a job requisition. You need to hire someone who can actually build great software, but the modern recruitment process relies on proxies instead of concrete proof of that capability. Think about what our standard metrics actually measure. A resume provides a map of a candidate's educational pedigree and employment history. An interview evaluates their ability to communicate technical concepts under pressure. Neither of these tools proves that the person sitting across from you can write clean, maintainable code. This reliance on proxies routinely creates a false positive scenario. You set up a whiteboard interview, a candidate memorizes the right algorithms, and they pass your test with flying colors. You end up hiring someone who is optimized for passing technical interviews, rather than someone who is optimized for building production systems. This split-screen matrix highlights the exact divide in the industry. On the left, we have the traditional proxies, resumes, certificates, and interviews. On the right, we have hard proof, active code repositories, deployed cloud architecture, and live applications. When you lean too heavily on the left side of that matrix, you also generate false negatives. You end up filtering out exceptional, highly capable engineers simply because their resumes lack a prestigious university name or a specific corporate background. The current system forces you to gamble on a candidate's technical competence based on assumptions. And when those assumptions are wrong, your organization absorbs the cost of a mishire, losing months of time and capital. To eliminate that gamble, you have to adopt a capability-first model. This approach requires candidates to submit real-world portfolios as the primary evidence of their skill. A portfolio demonstrates applied knowledge. Whether it's an AI application, a cloud deployment, or an open-source contribution, a completed project proves that an engineer has spent weeks or months handling practical software architecture and navigating actual system design constraints. When candidates only possess theoretical knowledge from textbooks or standard coding challenges, the systems they build frequently fail under real-world production stress. But demanding a portfolio creates a severe operational trade-off. Evaluating a candidate's comprehensive GitHub repository or reviewing their live enterprise software solution requires significantly more time and manual effort than grading an automated standardized coding test. This forces a difficult decision for engineering leaders. Is the return on investment of overhauling your entire recruitment pipeline worth it if meticulously reviewing all those portfolios risks overwhelming your senior engineers? You have to weigh the upfront cost of changing how you hire against the long-term compounding cost of deploying fragile code into your main product. Standard technical interviews are highly constrained environments. They offer a rigid 45-minute snapshot of how a candidate performs while someone watches over their shoulder. A portfolio is a completely different asset. It serves as a compounding, long-term record that documents a candidate's practical engineering decisions and problem-solving iteration over an extended period. This scorecard breaks down specific engineering competencies. A traditional interview adequately assesses basic problem-solving and isolated coding quality. However, portfolios outperform interviews when measuring complex traits like full system design, long-term scalability, and actual debugging skills within a large codebase. The appeal of maintaining the interview-heavy status quo is entirely operational. It guarantees a fast, predictable initial candidate screening process for your HR department. That speed comes with a significant hazard. Fast screening without deep capability validation routinely causes slower post-hire product development and forces your existing team to clean up substandard code, draining productivity. The financial fallout of ignoring portfolios accumulates quickly. Organizations experience increased churn as underperforming hires exit, which leads to ballooning recruitment expenses from running repeated hiring cycles for the same role. Prioritizing hiring speed over practical evidence saves you a few hours during the recruitment phase, but costs you months in delayed product roadmaps. The primary bottleneck blocking companies from requiring portfolios is bandwidth. Your senior engineering leaders do not have the time to manually review hundreds of complex code repositories while also doing their daily jobs. This is where Expert on Hire provides the necessary structural tooling. Their platform is built specifically to evaluate portfolios at scale, allowing you to validate capability without draining your own internal engineering resources. Let's trace their modernized hiring pipeline. Instead of stopping at the resume, the system pushes evaluation toward real project portfolios. It feeds technical validation into an AI matching system, ending with a structured assessment reviewed by verified technical experts. Utilizing this structural framework allows your organization to standardize the grading process for complex real-world projects. You get a consistent measurement of quality across every candidate. To implement this, you have to accept an organizational trade-off. Your company must deliberately shift away from traditional HR metrics and commit to using an external evaluation platform. Bringing in verified technical experts to conduct these evaluations removes the reliance on a candidate's past company name to justify their competence to your stakeholders. By integrating automated matching and structured expert validation, you evaluate the quality and complexity of what a candidate has already shipped without paralyzing your own engineering team in the process. How you implement this depends on your operational reality. If you are a startup founder, you do not have the luxury of training someone for 6 months. You need day-one contributors. At this stage, founders must prioritize evidence of completed projects over educational pedigree or lists of certifications. You need proof they can ship. The trade-off for founders is behavioral. You must actively overcome industry biases and intentionally look past non-traditional backgrounds to secure verified, highly capable talent before your competitors do. The calculus changes when you examine the operational realities of an enterprise technical recruiter or a scaling engineering leader managing a massive talent pool. At the enterprise level, you have to adopt structural assessment platforms like Expert on Hire. You need the infrastructure to evaluate portfolios systematically across thousands of candidates without losing quality control. The enterprise trade-off requires a cultural shift. Recruiters must move away from the perceived safety of hiring purely from big tech competitors to appease cautious stakeholders. Regardless of your company size, successfully building an engineering team requires moving away from theoretical tests and committing to the rigor of practical validation. This chart compares evaluation effort against engineering success predictability. Traditional hiring requires low effort, yielding low predictability. Manual review yields high predictability, demanding unsustainable effort. Expert on Hire shifts this into the ideal quadrant, moderate effort, maintaining high predictability. A resume tells you where someone has worked, and an interview shows how they communicate. But a portfolio demonstrates what they can build. Engineering teams are strongest when they're built on demonstrated performance rather than the assumptions found in a traditional hiring stack.